Welcome viewers, Dr. J.W. Ayub. I thought I'd just come on quickly. There's so much talk in Australia now about how it's failing as a nation. And what we've got to understand is that failure is based on political architecture. It's the politicians, generational, that have not corrected the architecture in which they function. No politician's going to fix the problem in Australia. You have to accept that. It's unfixable. It's never going to change. It's never going to get better. Now you might say I'm being negative. No, you've got to get to the point where you're realistic. You've got to say to yourself, this is a generational parasite, a generational virus, a generational architecture, politically engineered fault that's causing the nation to descend at such an accelerating rate. It's like a meteorite. It's obvious. I went for a motorbike ride yesterday and there was this Indian man, Sri Lankan he was. I didn't know that was his nationality until he told me. Sri Lankan. I asked him what was wrong. How was his ride going? He just didn't look happy. He started to cry. This man started to cry. I said, mate, I just come over to say hello. This is at a place called the Pie in the Sky at Mount Colah in between Sydney and the Central Coast. This guy started to cry. I said, what's wrong? He said, I just can't get ahead. This is as true as I'm standing here. He goes, I just can't get ahead. I said, oh, gee, sorry, mate. I've just come over to say hello. I said, what's going on? He said, I just can't get ahead. I said, what do you mean? He said, I've just been pulled over. They booked me $600 for not having a reflector on the back of my bike. I've gone, yeah, they do that. He said, my girlfriend shot through with another bloke. I said, yeah, they do that. I said, but what do you do for a job? He said, I'm training to be a pilot. I thought, well, that's a good career. But this guy was crying. Now, that's one instance of the many that are struggling and suffering in Australia. We've been abandoned. We've been left destitute, as it were, to try and manage what the politicians have done. And I'm going to say it's inherent. When they landed, when these colonial people landed, they were told, do not interfere with inhabited lands. And they did. And the way in which they invaded Australia, I know it's a terrible word, but the way in which they colonised Australia, then however you want to put it, they gave no consideration really to the Aboriginal people. My grandmother was stolen nation, stolen generation. That's now manifesting in a way in which the colonists themselves are allowing the land to be overtaken. They're undermining their own constitutional values. They're undermining everything that protects us the further it gets away from Christianity, which is what they are trying to instill with all this migration. The less conscious we are of our constitution and our protections within that and our inheritance. Can't go there. Inheritance. Oh yeah, there's inheritances we have that that they've done a real good job of hiding. It's all a political architecture. Whether they're aware of it or not, I'd say in some cases they are. The point of the fact of the matter is they don't care. Nobody's coming to save you. This Sri Lankan man standing next to his motorbike with nothing left emotionally and possibly financially stood there and cried, just completely broken. And I believe there's thousands of people, tens of thousands of people in that same predicament. They've got no answer left. They haven't got the money left to cover everything that this country's demanding of them. And they are broken. They're forced to work 2-3 jobs, still not making it. They've done the effort, they've followed the plan, they've done everything they were told to, and they're still not making it. That's political architecture. That's the way this has been engineered. And now the politicians themselves have become so morally bankrupt that they're giving the nation away to people that aren't even of Christian descent. Once Christianity gets broken, like, it doesn't matter, I don't care what religion you are, but if you break the Constitution far enough, everything will collapse with it. And so what we're watching now is, to close this off, we're watching Australia plummeting toward third world decline. Because the only way I could describe the state that that man was in yesterday was a third world state. And there's more people than we realise that are suffering that psychological demise, where all you've got left is the hopelessness and crying. I haven't seen a grown man cry for a long time, but I saw it yesterday. Australia is irreconcilable, and you have to find a way of navigating this now. Just find a way. I haven't got the answer. I'm on struggle street myself, but you have to find a way, because they're gonna black this nation out next. There'll be no power. They're gonna give everything away until there's nothing left. They're not using our resources. They're bailing out Tomago and all these places to keep them going at your expense. Australia's failed. It's a failed state. You might not want to believe it, but that's the bottom line. Bye for now.